Most men over 60 don't realize that the way they drink water, yes, plain water, could be the hidden cause of their weak erections, low stamina, and declining testosterone levels. It sounds crazy, I know. How can something so simple cause such big problems? But after helping thousands of men over 30 years, I can say with certainty that the issue isn't always age. It's your daily routines. And one of the most overlooked habits is how and when you drink water. I'm Dr. Laura, a certified urologist and expert in men's health with over 30 years of experience. I've met men in their 60s, 70 seconds, and 80 seconds who felt hopeless, convinced their best years were behind them. But time and again, I've seen how small adjustments like changing the way they drink water can restore their energy, performance, and confidence in ways they never imagined. What if I told you that even mild dehydration can thicken your blood, slow circulation, reduce testosterone, and increase stress hormones, all of which make it harder to achieve and maintain erections? And what if the solution wasn't a pill, but a glass of water used the right way? In this video, I'll share 8 science-backed secrets about water and erections that older men wish they had known years ago. These are the same tips I give to my patients every day, and toward the end, I'll reveal a little-known morning trick that takes just 7 seconds. And when combined with proper hydration, enhances blood flow and performance in the bedroom. Keep watching. This could be the most important video you see this year. Before we start, if you really want to improve your health and regain your confidence, make sure to hit the subscribe button and activate the bell so you don't miss practical, science-backed tips designed specifically for men over 60. And if you find this video helpful, write a 1 in the comments. If not, write a 0 so I know how to better help you next time. Alright, let's get to the point. The first thing we need to talk about is blood flow, because without it, there's no erection. And what most men don't know is that blood itself is mostly water. That means if you're even slightly dehydrated, your blood becomes thicker, slower, and harder to circulate. And when blood doesn't flow freely, especially to the areas that matter most, your ability to achieve and maintain a firm erection is directly affected. Let's break it down. Water is blood's best friend, and erections depend on blood. Let me share something I've learned after more than 3 decades listening to men behind closed doors, men like you. The number one complaint I hear isn't always about testosterone or libido. It's, doctor, it just doesn't work like it used to. And 9 times out of 10, before looking at hormones or medications, I ask them one question: how much water are you really drinking? Most laugh. They say, I drink coffee in the morning, maybe a soda with lunch, but hardly any water. And the truth is, an erection is a hydraulic event. It's all about pressure. It requires blood to flow into the penis, fill the chambers, and stay there. But if your blood is too thick to slow or too heavy to move properly, that pressure never builds. You might feel desire, but physically, your body can't respond. Blood is more than 90% water, so when you're dehydrated, even a little, your blood becomes viscous. Your heart has to work harder to circulate it, which means less oxygen, fewer nutrients delivered, and yes, less blood flow to the penis. And it's not just my opinion. It's basic human biology. One of my patients, Jim, a 68-year-old former coach, came into my office with his head down and said, "Doctor, it doesn't work anymore." I think I'm too old. He had accepted that as his new normal. But when I reviewed his lifestyle, he was doing almost everything right except drinking water. He had no serious illnesses, wasn't on medications, he was just chronically dehydrated. I asked him to commit to a small change: drink water consistently and intentionally throughout the day. No quick gulps, no ice-cold bottles, just slow, steady hydration. 2 weeks later, he came back smiling. I don't know what changed, he said, but something is working again. That's the power of proper hydration. It thins your blood, improves circulation, and supports all the mechanisms your body relies on to perform. And it doesn't take much, just consistency. Most men don't realize that even mild dehydration can reduce blood volume enough to make a difference. You might not feel thirsty, but your body is already slowing down. The strength of your erection weakens, your recovery time increases, and your confidence begins to fade quietly over time. But here's what makes this even more important. Your blood doesn't just carry oxygen. It also transports testosterone, nitric oxide, and essential nutrients that travel through your bloodstream to where they need to be. If that system isn't flowing smoothly, nothing works as it should. So the next time you feel like your body is failing you, don't jump to Conclusions about aging. First, ask yourself, am I hydrated enough for my blood to do its job? That's just the beginning, because even if you're drinking enough water, there's something else that could be sabotaging your performance from within, and it's even more dangerous than poor blood flow. It has to do with a hormone every man needs and what happens when your body goes into survival mode. Let's talk about that now. 2. Dehydration silently reduces testosterone. I remember sitting across from Walter, a 72-year-old man, recently widowed and living alone. Sharp mind, clear eyes, but his energy was fading. He looked at me and said, "Doctor, I don't feel sick. I just don't feel like myself." There was no crisis, no obvious medical emergency, but something in him had shut down, and he didn't know why. We talked. He wasn't on major medications, exercised a little, ate well, wasn't depressed, but he felt dim, lacking motivation and real interest in intimacy. And behind it all was a silent fear. I'm done. I did his tests. His testosterone levels were lower than average, not alarmingly low, but enough to explain why he felt off. When I asked about his water intake, he admitted almost as a confession, probably not much, to be honest. And there it was. Most men don't realize that dehydration does much more than make you tired or thirsty. It puts your entire system into survival mode. Your body starts conserving energy, protecting vital organs, regulating temperature, and maintaining blood pressure. And anything non-essential for survival, like reproduction, libido, muscle building, and testosterone production, gets relegated. Testosterone isn't just about sex. It's about drive, strength, identity. It's the fire inside you that makes you feel like a man. But when your body detects a lack of water, it suppresses that fire to save itself. And the more dehydrated you are over time, the more that hormonal imbalance becomes your new normal. But that's not all. There's another enemy that dehydration brings along: cortisol, your primary stress hormone. When you're dehydrated, cortisol levels spike. And here's the problem: cortisol and testosterone cannot coexist at high levels. When cortisol rises, testosterone falls. It's like a seesaw, and most men over 60 are unknowingly stuck on the wrong side. Let's go back to Walter. We didn't put him on testosterone injections or hormone replacement therapy. Instead, I gave him something much simpler: a hydration routine. He started drinking water first thing in the morning, carried a bottle with him throughout the day, and took small, steady sips instead of waiting until he was thirsty. He avoided caffeine in the afternoon, steered clear of alcohol before bed, and listened to his body. 4 weeks later, he walked into my office with renewed vigor. "Doctor," he said, "I feel awake again. I'm laughing more. I'm even interested in dating someone." That spark had returned, and all he did was give his body what it had been silently asking for: water. The truth is, many older men aren't suffering from hormonal failure. They're suffering from long-term dehydration, and no one had told them. But even if you're drinking water every day, there's something most men do completely wrong. It's not about how much you drink, it's about how you drink it. This one mistake could be why your body still isn't responding as you'd like. Let me show you what it is. 3. Most men drink water the wrong way. When I started telling men that the way they drink water affects their erections, to be honest, most laughed in my face. I'll never forget Mick, a retired truck driver in his late 60s, a big, straightforward guy. He looked at me, laughed, and said, "Doctor, it's water. What am I supposed to do? Pray to it?" I smiled and said, "No, Mick, but you should respect it." That's where most men go wrong. They think drinking water is as simple as grabbing a bottle when they feel thirsty. But the truth is, by the time you feel thirsty, your body is already dehydrated. And when you chug a large amount all at once, especially ice-cold water, your body can't absorb it properly. Instead of hydrating your cells, that water rushes through your system, overloads your kidneys, and flushes out valuable minerals. It's like throwing a bucket of water onto a dry sponge. It doesn't absorb. It just spills over the sides. Your body prefers consistency. It wants small sips of water throughout the day. That way, it maintains blood volume, balances your nervous system, and keeps your hormones in check. Even the way you sit makes a difference. Drinking while sitting, rather than standing or moving around, activates your parasympathetic nervous system, your rest and digest mode, allowing for better absorption. And here's something most men have never heard. Even letting the water mix with your saliva for a few seconds before swallowing helps your body process it more effectively. It's an ancient practice backed by modern science. Mick was skeptical, but he agreed to try it. He stopped drinking cold water from the fridge and started sipping room temperature water slowly throughout the day. He sat while drinking and began to pay attention to when his body needed water instead of ignoring it until he felt dry. 3 weeks later, he called my office. "Doctor," he said, "I don't know what kind of magic this is, but I feel strong or not. Just in bed, but overall, that's not magic. It's physiology. When you respect how your body wants to receive water, it rewards you with better circulation, more stable energy, clearer focus, and yes, stronger erections. It's not about drinking more. It's about drinking smarter." Most older men never learn this. They assume hydration is just a matter of quantity, but the quality how you hydrate makes all the difference. Think of your body like a classic car. You wouldn't flood it with gasoline all at once and expect it to run smoothly. You'd fuel it slowly, carefully, and consistently. Your body works the same way, and here's the trick. Even if you're drinking water the right way, you're likely still doing things throughout the day that cancel out all your hard work. Little habits that seem harmless but are actually draining water from your system and sabotaging your progress. Let's take a closer look at those next. 4. Hidden habits that undermine proper hydration. There's nothing more frustrating than doing the right thing and not seeing results. I see it all the time with my older patients, men who commit to drinking more water, changing their habits, and truly trying to take care of themselves, only to come back weeks later saying, "Doctor, I feel a bit better, but it's not what I expected." That's exactly what happened with Harold, a 74-year-old retired pilot who followed my hydration advice to the letter. He took slow sips, avoided cold water, drank sitting down. He did everything I asked, but when he sat in front of me for his follow-up visit, he looked puzzled. "Doctor, I expected more." So we examined his routine more closely. What we found were small daily choices that seemed harmless but were actually working against him. Like many men, Harold started his morning with a strong cup of coffee. Later, he enjoyed a glass of wine with dinner. After a juicy orange or slices of watermelon, he'd drink a big glass of water. None of that seemed like a problem until we looked at it from a hydration perspective. Caffeine and alcohol are diuretics. That means they actually pull water from your system, increasing urine production and leaving you more dehydrated than you think. You might think you're replenishing with water, but if you drink it after coffee or alcohol, you're just trying to catch up and you never quite do. Then there's the timing issue. Drinking water immediately after eating water-rich fruits like oranges, grapes, or melons can dilute your digestive enzymes and cause bloating. When that happens, your body becomes less efficient at absorbing nutrients, and your water intake loses some of its benefits. Even something as innocent as drinking too much water too quickly, what we call overhydration, can flush out key minerals like sodium, magnesium, and potassium. These minerals are essential for nerve function, muscle contractions, and yes, your sexual response. Once Harold understood this, we made some minor adjustments. He began spacing out his water intake more intentionally, drinking before meals instead of after fruits, slightly reducing his coffee and wine, and adding a pinch of sea salt to his morning glass to help retain key electrolytes. Within a few days, he told me, "Doctor, it's like my body finally got the message. I feel balanced. I feel like I'm working with my body instead of against it." Sometimes the solution isn't doing more. It's eliminating the subtle things that silently sabotage your efforts. Once you remove those hidden mistakes, the benefits of hydration start to work in your favor, almost like flipping a switch inside you. But what excites me most is this. Science is now beginning to demonstrate just how powerful proper hydration can be, not just in theory, but in measurable results you can see and feel. 5. Science-backed benefits of proper hydration for sexual health. One of the most rewarding parts of my job is seeing how science confirms what we've always felt to be true. When you give your body what it really needs, it responds. No tricks, no quick fixes, just a return to what should have been working in the first place. I remember Carl, a 70-year-old man, who came to me not for a specific medical issue, but because he simply felt like he was fading away. He wasn't in pain, he wasn't sick, but there was a slow dimming of his spark. He used to feel motivated, alert, connected, but now, as he put it, "Doctor, I feel like I'm just existing." As we talked, it became clear that he had dismissed many of these changes as normal aging. His sex life had quieted, his focus was off, his blood pressure was rising, his skin looked dull, and his energy plummeted by midday. He attributed it all to being in his 70s. But what struck me was how little water he drank. It wasn't that he rejected it, it just never seemed urgent. Like many men his age, he drank when he remembered, but it wasn't a habit. I asked him to commit to proper hydration, not just drinking more, but drinking better. Small, steady sips throughout the day at room temperature, sitting down, no quick gulps, no cold shocks, no relying on thirst. Carl was skeptical, but he gave it a try. 6 weeks later, he was a different man. His erections returned stronger. His blood pressure dropped. His skin looked healthier. He was mentally sharper, more emotionally present. His wife even noticed and asked one night, "Are you okay? You seem like yourself again." That question was a turning point for him. It wasn't just about sex. It was about life, about being awake again. And it wasn't just coincidence. Research supports what Carl and so many other men experience firsthand. Hydration improves blood viscosity, allowing for smoother circulation. It keeps organs like the liver and kidneys functioning efficiently, which is critical for hormonal regulation. Hydrated brains think more clearly, hydrated muscles contract more effectively, and hydrated blood delivers oxygen and testosterone exactly where your body needs it most, especially in intimate moments. Even a 1- to drop in hydration can negatively affect mood, memory, and focus. However, when you're properly hydrated, you feel calmer, more confident, and more connected, not just with your body, but with your partner. And when circulation improves, the quality of your erection does too. That's not placebo. It's science. Carl's story isn't unique. I see this transformation in men every week once they finally start treating hydration not as an afterthought, but as a cornerstone of their health. Because real change often comes from the simplest adjustments. But there's something else that makes hydration even more critical as you age, something few doctors talk about, but every man over 60 needs to understand. It's about how aging changes the rules and why your body can no longer afford to be ignored. Let's talk about that now. 6. Why hydration matters more after 60. There's something that no one really warns you about when you cross 60. It's not just that your body changes. It stops compensating for your bad habits. When you were younger, you could skip meals, stay up late, forget to drink water, and still wake up feeling fine. Maybe not perfect, but functional. But after 60, the cost of those little mistakes adds up quickly. You start to notice your energy doesn't bounce back like it used to. Your focus fades, your mood dips, and in the bedroom, things start to feel different, slower, weaker, less responsive. One of my patients, Frank, a 67-year-old retired electrician, expressed it perfectly. He said, "Doctor, I feel like someone turned down the volume on my life." That struck me because I've heard it in different forms from hundreds of men. It's not just about erections. It's not even necessarily about sex. It's about presence, feeling completely alive in your own skin. When Frank and I talked more, we uncovered what I see in so many older men. His hydration had slowly declined over the years, not on purpose. Life just got busier. He didn't feel as thirsty. Coffee and the occasional beer took the place of water, and over time, that subtle dehydration began dragging him down. His blood wasn't circulating like it used to. His hormone levels were dropping. His mind was cloudy, and he assumed, like many men, that this was part of aging. But it doesn't have to be. After just a few weeks of consistent, conscious hydration, room temperature water, slow sips throughout the day, no cold shocks, and stopping liquids at least an hour before bed, Frank started to feel different. Mornings became easier, his thoughts clearer. He stopped taking long afternoon naps, and yes, his erections returned stronger, more naturally. But more than that, his spark returned. His posture changed. He looked me in the eye again. He said, "I didn't realize how far I had fallen until I became myself again." This is what proper hydration can do when your body is no longer 25. When you're over 60, every system in your body relies more on balance. Your cardiovascular system needs smoother blood flow. Hormonal regulation becomes more sensitive. Your kidneys and liver work harder to filter toxins and support your metabolism. Without enough water and the right water routine, those systems start to slow down silently until one day you wake up wondering where your edge went. the truth is, water is no longer optional. It's not something you remember to drink when you're thirsty. It's something you need to give your body consistently, intentionally, and respectfully. That shift alone can change everything. And if you're determined to take this to the next level, not just with hydration, but with results you can feel in the bedroom and beyond, there's one more thing you need to know. A simple 7-second morning habit that works in harmony with proper hydration to unlock real, lasting performance. Let me show you what it is. 7. Combine hydration with this 7-second morning trick. Over the years, I've come to believe that the first few minutes of your day can shape everything from your energy to your mindset and how your body functions. Especially after 60, those first moments matter more than ever. And while hydration is the foundation, there's a simple habit I share with my patients that takes everything to the next level. It only takes 7 seconds, and when done consistently, it can awaken something inside you that may have been turned off for years. Greg, one of my longtime patients, was 71 when he came to me. He had been following his hydration plan religiously: room temperature water spaced throughout the day, avoiding cold drinks, steering clear of dehydration triggers, and it helped. His energy improved. His mood was brighter, but something was still missing. He said, "Doctor, I feel good, but not great." As if he was almost there. That's when I taught him the 7-second morning trick. It's simple and doesn't require any special equipment. Just you, your breath, and your intention. The technique is straightforward. A slow, deep inhalation through the nose, hold it for a few seconds, and then exhale gently through the nose again. What this does is stimulate the release of nitric oxide, a natural molecule your body produces that acts like a switch for blood flow. It tells your blood vessels to relax and open up, allowing more oxygen-rich blood to reach all parts of your body, including the one you're probably thinking about right now. Most men over 60 have declining levels of nitric oxide. It's one of the reasons blood flow weakens with age, even if your heart remains strong. But with just a few intentional breaths every morning right after your first glass of water, you can activate this system and boost your circulation. It's gentle, it's natural, and it works with your body, not against it. Greg was skeptical at first. "Doctor, how is breathing going to fix anything?" he asked. I smiled and said, "Just give it 2 weeks," and he did. 2 weeks later, he walked in looking lighter, as if he had shed a weight off his shoulders. "Doctor," he said, "I don't know how to explain it, but I feel turned on again. My body feels like it remembers how to function again." That's what it's really about, not becoming someone you're not, but helping your body remember who you've always been. When you combine smart hydration with this 7-second routine to boost nitric oxide, you're telling your system it's time to perform again on all levels, not just sexually, but mentally, emotionally, energetically. And what I love about this is how accessible it is. No pills, no complicated schedules, no waiting for a prescription, just water, breath, and a few moments of intention. Stack those things day after day, and you start to rebuild your foundation. 8. Your daily hydration routine for stronger erections. One of the most common questions I get from men over 60 is, "Doctor, I get it, hydration is important, but just tell me exactly what to do." And I understand. At this stage in life, you don't need vague advice or more confusion. You need something simple, something you can stick to, something that works. That's why I developed a clear daily hydration rhythm built not just on science but on the real-life success stories of the men I've treated in my clinic. Richard was one of those men. At 66, a retired firefighter came to me feeling exhausted. Years of stress, poor sleep, and irregular habits had taken their toll. His erections were weak, his energy was unpredictable, and he no longer felt like himself. He was ready to try anything, but he didn't want pills or empty promises. I said, "Let's rebuild your foundation, starting with water." I gave him this routine. First thing in the morning, before coffee or food, drink a glass of room temperature water slowly while sitting down. Within the next 2 hours, drink another glass, this time with a small pinch of sea salt to help your body retain essential minerals. Around lunchtime, have 1 or 2 more glasses, again sitting down and without rushing. In the afternoon, add another glass, especially if you've had caffeine or been outside in the heat. Then, early in the evening, have 1 final glass, stopping at least an hour before bed to avoid interrupting your sleep. He followed this without skipping, without rushing, without cold drinks, just conscious, steady hydration every day. Within 3 weeks, Richard felt more focused. His afternoon energy crashes disappeared. He was sleeping more deeply. And most importantly, he said, "Doctor, I'm responding again. When the moment comes, my body really shows up." That kind of progress, a real, measurable change, begins by giving your body what it's been silently asking for all this time. This routine isn't complicated, and it doesn't require you to carry a gallon of water or count ounces. It's about rhythm. It's about giving water to your body when it needs it most, after rest, during digestion, before stress, and in preparation for recovery. When you follow this rhythm, your circulation improves, your hormones stabilize, and the quality of your erections begins to reflect the health you've been working so hard to regain. And I want to say something here that's important. It's not just about erections. It's about vitality. It's about stepping into each day with clarity, energy, and confidence. It's about rebuilding your connection with your body, your partner, and yourself. That starts with water. That starts today. Conclusion: stay hydrated, stay strong. Over the past 30 years, I've had the privilege of sitting across from thousands of men, good men, strong men who walked into my office thinking they were broken. Some thought they were too old. Others believed the fire had gone out forever. But time and again, I've seen their lives change, not with prescriptions or procedures, but with something as simple and overlooked as water. Now you've seen how hydration plays a much larger role in your sexual health and overall vitality than most doctors tell you. You've learned that blood flow, the very essence of a strong erection, depends on fluid blood that moves easily, and that blood is over 90% water. We talked about how even mild dehydration can thicken your blood, overload your heart, and reduce the amount of oxygen and nutrients reaching the parts of your body that need them most. We also discovered how dehydration affects your hormones, how it suppresses testosterone, elevates cortisol, and makes you feel dim, confused, and disconnected, not just from your partner, but from yourself. I shared Walter's story, who thought he was losing his edge only to find it again when he simply started drinking water with purpose. Now you understand that most men drink water the wrong way, rushing it, ignoring it, or thinking quantity alone is enough. But your body thrives on rhythm, consistency, and habits that support absorption and balance. You've learned to avoid common mistakes like drinking after caffeine or alcohol, or taking water after eating water-rich fruits, because those things undo the progress you're working so hard to achieve. You've seen how real men like Jim, Carl, Frank, Richard, and Greg transform not just their sexual performance but their confidence, energy, and mindset simply by learning to hydrate the right way. And with each story, I hope you felt something shift within you, not shame, not regret, but possibility. Because here's the truth I want you to remember: your body still wants to function. It may have slowed down, it may be quieter than before, but deep within you is the same engine you had in your 30s. It's just waiting for the right conditions to come back to life. Water is part of that. Breath is part of that. Daily rhythm and intention are part of that, and all of that is under your control. Don't let anything, your age, your past, or your fears make you believe your best days are behind you. You are stronger than you realize, more capable than you feel, and you still have so much time ahead. Every sip of water, every breath, every small choice to care for yourself is a step toward the man you still are. Start now. Keep it simple. Reclaim your energy, reclaim your strength, reclaim your body, one glass at a time. And if you're ready to go further, if you want to continue moving toward a healthier, more energized version of yourself, stay with me. There's more ahead, more science, more tips, more truths that no one else is sharing. But for today, just remember this: drink enough water and stay powerful.